Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Desert Sky Adventures. Today, we are here in the historic mining town of Lowell, Arizona, which is actually part of Lower Bisbee. I'm here on Erie Street today, which is a little slice of Americana. It's like a time capsule. It's been frozen in the past. Despite that, Erie Street in Lowell itself is facing a very uncertain future. We're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the history of the town today on Desert Sky Adventures. According to legendsofamerica.com, Lowell, Arizona was once a sizable mining town located just to the southeast of Bisbee. Today it is a smaller neighborhood in the larger community. Though the majority of the original town site was consumed by the excavation of the Lavender Pit mine during the 1950s, what remains today is a photographer's dream. The one street that is left features mid-century buildings, signs, and artifacts, and a colorful display that makes visitors feel as if they've taken a step back in time. And Bisbee, known as the Copper Queen of Arizona, got its start in the 1870s in the steep wooded canyon northeast of Lowell. However, as the Bisbee mining district spread south and east as more claims were made and more mines opened, houses and businesses followed, sprouting up wherever a vacant spot could be found. In February 1899, Frank Hatchett of Lowell, Massachusetts purchased the property and started the Lowell and Arizona Copper Mining and Smelting Company. Hatchett then began to construct buildings and a headframe, and in March, shafts were sunk that would soon reach 900 feet. Both the mine and the town of Lowell were likely named for Hatchett's hometown. The first business in Lowell, 2 saloons and a livery stable, were built in 1900, spearheading development. In 1904, plans were laid out for the Lowell town site, and it received a post office. In 1908, a petition passed to annex Lowell to Bisbee. That year, Erie Street featured 8 saloons where miners could quench their thirst. There were also several houses of ill repute that provided female companionship. However, as the Warren mining district continued to attract families to the area, these establishments came under attack by members of the local morality movement. The same year, the Warren-Bisbee Railway, an 8-mile electric railway, began service on March 12, 1908, operating a 30-minute service with 42-foot Maguire Cummings interurban cars. The population of Lowell grew rapidly as the mines expanded and the trolley line opened, making travel throughout the district more convenient. By 1910, almost half the population of Bisbee lived in Lowell and Warren. In 1920, Lowell was called home to more than 6,000 people. It was busy with schools, shops, churches, recreational facilities, and plenty of saloons and boarding houses. Though these were gradually being replaced by homes, Lowell also boasted the first movie house in the district. The highway stretched from Bisbee to Douglas. Then US 80 was the first paved road in Arizona. In 1926, the steel headframe was removed and installed at the Warren shaft. Even without a headframe and the main shaft abandoned, mining continued in the Lowell mine area for a few more years. Lowell continued to hold on as a residential and business area in the next years, but slowed during the Great Depression as the value of copper declined. But Lowell remained a busy, active community. The main street was lined with many businesses, including Brophy Garage, Bisbee Lumber Company, the Southern Arizona Auto Company, Star Chevrolet, 2 pharmacies, 2 shoe stores, 2 cafes, barbershops, grocery stores, department stores, and service stations. Phelps Dodge Corporation opened the Lavender Pit in 1950 at the site of the earlier, higher-grade Sacramento Hill mine. By this time, more than half of Lowell was in the path of new development for this massive pit. Ironically, the source of Lowell's success would also be its demise. The Southern Pacific Railroad track into Old Bisbee was abandoned in 1951, and afterward, the railroad terminated in Bakerville. In the next years, the development of the Lavender Pit involved the area occupied by Lowell and other small suburbs. More than 250 homes and businesses needed to be moved. Residents were offered the option of either receiving the market value for their home, which would be demolished, or the company would pay to have the structures moved to a new site. By 1957, few were left living in Lowell. A major relocation of Highway 80 was required to accommodate the expanding pit. Lowell was left stagnated with the highway bypassing it. In 1959, all the local towns were annexed and became the city of Bisbee. As the 1950s and 60s progressed, the Lavender Pit became deeper and wider. Mining operations in the Lavender Pit ended in 1974. However, the undeveloped Cochise deposit located immediately to the north of the Lavender Pit contains copper which could be mined in the future. Today, the pit covers an area of 300 acres and is almost 900 feet deep. Though much of Lowell was lost to the pit, a fragment of Lowell's commercial district was saved along Erie Street. In fact, it was more than saved. The quarter-mile road was preserved and improved to cultivate a vintage peak of an earlier time. For years, business owners, locals, and other enthusiastic individuals have banded together to create a distinctive outdoor museum that showcases the facades of the 1940s through early 1970s. The effort, called the Lowell Americana Project, is made up of volunteers who have worked hard in restoring and enhancing the street with colorful hand-painted signs, storefront displays, old gas pumps, historic cars and motorcycles, and even an old Greyhound bus. Lowell Americana Project has garnered national and international media attention and praise for the project's cultural preservation efforts, making this unique location one of the most photographed streets in the West. It has appeared on magazine and album covers, as well as have been utilized as a backdrop for film and video shorts. With the junction shaft headframe towering over downtown Lowell, visitors will see the facades of a restored Gulf gas station, an old movie theater, a pool hall, Harley-Davidson repair shop, a five and dime store, a hat shop, and more. Freeport-McMoRan owns the mine and most of the buildings in Lowell, including the one housing the Bisbee Breakfast Club. It is the only restaurant on Erie Street, and employees recently learned that Freeport would not renew their lease come September. A handful of businesses in Lowell are banding together, hoping Freeport will change its mind or sell the building to the Bisbee Breakfast Club. It's said the owner is more than willing to accept any form of liability possible, and he is gathering signatures from Cochise County officials and plans to send a letter to the CEO of Freeport. His goal? To prevent Lowell from becoming a ghost town once again. In a statement to the media, a Freeport spokesperson said, Freeport owns about 20 parcels or buildings within the Lowell district. The lease of one tenant is scheduled to expire in late 2025. That tenant has been made aware we will not be renewing the lease because of the age and condition of the building. We have been supporting the tenant in relocating. After the occupant has vacated the building, Freeport will work to safely secure the property and minimize the potential for vandalism. We anticipate the structure eventually will be torn down, leaving the facade intact. Given the age and the condition of some buildings Freeport owns in Lowell, structures have become increasingly challenging to safely maintain. Several structures are in deteriorating condition, and each will be evaluated. Resumption of mining is not in Freeport's current plans. However, that is one story that at least one local resident doesn't buy.
Bullshit, it's a corporation. They want to do something else.
We came across this street vendor who told us her name was Dolores, a longtime resident, and she had no problem giving us her opinion of the situation in Lowell.
First they thought it was some shafts, and then the next story was there's a fault through here. Well, I'm sure there's faults all the way through here, but nothing since they closed in 75 has anything happened. Of course, they bought this out from Phelps Dodge, and I think it's a new cooperation that's going to come in here and do something. I don't know, but like the BBC last year, and like in July, they told them they'd have to be out by September, and then in September they said this last December, and now this last December they said they could get another lease for another year. So that's,
So they keep pushing it back.
Yeah.
So what their plans are just tear all this down?
I haven't heard anything like that yet.
Uh-huh.
They would condemn the buildings and nobody could, live in them or work out of them.
Yeah, I saw in the paper somebody from the company said that they were concerned about the state of the buildings,
Yeah.
and if something came down or somebody got hurt, they'd be responsible for it. So, do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't think so. I don't know. I know a lot of people, or not a lot, but several people that live in the top of some of these businesses, and they don't seem to be concerned. They seem to be more upset that they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So we just have to hide and watch, I guess.
With so much uncertainty surrounding Lowell and its future, it's hard to know exactly which way the story will unfold. But one thing we can tell you with certainty: if you'd like to take a look at this piece of American history for yourself, you probably should do it as soon as you can, as it appears that Lowell could be on borrowed time. That's going to wrap it up for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, until the next video, we'll see you down the road.